All right. Hello, all you beautiful, wonderful, amazing, spectacular tea people. I hope you're having a wonderful, beautiful spring day. If you are in one of those places that have spring days at this time of the year, or I guess late summer day if you're upside down. Uh, I am enjoying this beautiful, amazing, like just the spring here ever since New Year's. It's just been blue skies. It's just been so beautiful. Hey, how's it going, guys? It's just been like I can't even describe to you how beautiful it's been here for the last week, and I hope it lasts because it's just it's so nice. It's so nice, and not to brag, but I grew up in Toronto, so um, maybe it is a little bit of a brag. Anyways, we're drinking a can of tea today. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to jump on this and we're going to open this up, and I'm going to be drinking a can of tea. Thanks for being so responsible and helpful. Hey, I get to talk about tea and make money from it. Hey, it's like thanks for talking about something that you love. Like there we go. Okay, so here we go. What's the story behind this? This is the can of tea. In here is a can of tea. You can see this is from my buddy. Now, my buddy on Moodsa, he doesn't really have to do a lot of stuff anymore in the sense of or marketing or any type of things like that. Is it a particular brand? Well, I'll tell you the story. This is not a brand. This is the competition tea. And as you can see from the lack of any English word other than Mutza on this is marketed towards old Taiwanese men. This is old Taiwanese men. Anyway, so my buddy, he has won things in the past. So he's won competitions in the past for Mutza. His family's been doing it for many, many years. But recently, he just has stopped caring if he wins or not, and he just does a decent competition tea, and he puts it in there. Now, a couple questions like why is it special, and all these different things. People have talked about this. Now, this tea is a competition tea, so this was entered into the competition, but it didn't place. And the way it works is there's usually like one at the very, very top, and then like 3 first places and 3 second places and 6 fourth places. There's all sorts of different ways of doing it. Like they try and spread out the medals as much as they possibly can to as many people as they possibly can. But in these things, you get like 2, 3, 400 different teas entered into it. And so the vast majority of the tea doesn't place. It doesn't place. But if a farmer enters the tea, what they get out of that is they get their tea packaged into these fancy boxes. And as you I'm going to put the sun in there. Wow, look at that, shiny. It's shining right up there, right on. This one's cutting off my. Sorry, let me see if I can just change this so the YouTube doesn't cut off my bald head there with this camera. Anyways, so what is the story behind all of this, right? What's the story behind all of it? The story is that I went to go see him, and he gave me this tea, and I was like, wow, this tea is awesome. I really, really like it. And because I was talking about competition teas, and this tea didn't place, and so I got it for relatively cheap. It's not that much more expensive than the other tea that's very, very, very similar to this that's on the site. So the tea that's on the site right now, well, actually, it's more expensive, obviously, but not like it's right in between the Dragon's Eye charcoal roasted Tieguanin and the Golden Mutza Tieguanin. So right in the middle between those two, right? So that's where the price point is. And what's special about this tea? Well, an extreme amount of care was taken in making this tea. Wow, so shiny. Look at that. How's that? That's it's like catching fish. Now everybody wants to buy it. But this there was an extreme amount of care put into this. Now, what is this tea? This is we can get into it if you have questions about it, but just generally speaking, when you're looking at Tieguanin from Mutza, the Tieguanin is not the cultivar, it is the way of making the tea. So it is not the cultivar. So this is actually, this is Jintren. This is the milk oolong cultivar. This is not Tiaguanine cultivar, but it's produced in the Tiaguanine way, which is you oxidize the heck out of it and then you roast the heck out of it. And what that brings out in the various different kinds of teas, if you've got a Tiaguanine cultivar tea, what that brings out is fruit, sweet sourness, lots of really complex things. If it's a Jintren cultivar, caramel. You're looking at a thick caramel milk feel. That's what it is. I've already secured a box. How much for 300 grams? So each one of these, the box, I send it just like this, is $99 for 300 grams of it. Now, I actually had somebody send me an email about it and complain. Well, not complain, but just ask me about it. So when I sent out, and this is the thing with the, where are they? The tubes. I think I've got one around. Is there one in here? So here's the Raceway stuff, right? Here's the Raceway stuff. Is there a tube in here? No, there's no tubes. Anyways, the tubes for the Raceway stuff, the sticker on the bottom was, it breaks open really easily, which I feel bad about. So remember too, I got in a little bit more of the, this, the competition honey. So if you want some of this, get in touch with me right now as fast as you can, because there's some other people that didn't get some last time. If you want some of this, get in touch with me as fast as you can, and I'll send it to you. I got 6 more of these boxes. Anyways, where am I at? Here. This is what you would get for, it's 300 grams, right? And it's got these stickers. Now you can see the difference, right? Which one is for the young people and which one is for the old people? Generally speaking, heavily roasted caramel flavored teas are not what young people want to drink. What they want to drink is this, as you can see from the lady on the package. This is marketed, and the market for this is old Taiwanese men. That's just sort of the way it is. And the way it works is there's how many stickers? There's 1, 2, and 3 stickers right here. So there's, you can see the 3 stickers. So you cannot tamper with the competition tea. Now, this is fun. So look what they do here. This you can tell that in this particular competition, they've had some bad actors in the past. The design on the Raceway one looks like a piece of tech. Well, it is the globalist font. That is for sure. Now take a look. You can see that when I watch when I pull off the thing, you see it leaves all of these things on the sticker, right? So you can't take off the sticker and put it back. So when you take off the sticker, it leaves all of this is high-tech stuff on the sticker, right? And so you take off the sticker like this, and then let's see if this one over here has it as well. Oh, it does. It does. So you can see when you take off the stickers, high-tech. Right? So when you take it off like this, they make sure that nobody got into this box before you. You are the unwrapper of the box. You possess the box's purity. And then you open it up and you got your big old canister of tea that looks like this. And you can see here, it is, you got the can. Right, so you got the can. And so that's sort of the presentation of this. As you can see here, very, very obviously, it says high quality product. Let's see if it gets in the, anyways, it does, that's what it says, high quality product. Oh, here's a bigger one right on the top. So there it says high quality product, so you can believe it. And that's why I haven't done a lot of competition teas in the past. Because, you know, I've had a lot of tea from this guy who makes this tea, a lot of tea from it. And I guess for me right now, this is not really a premium. At least it doesn't say choicest tea. Well, no, that's only for the winners. The choicest only goes on the winners. But yes, yeah, it's just high quality tea. So the reason I got this, the reason I got so much of it, was because it's got this. This is kind of fun, right? Like if you're gonna get some tea, this is actually it is. It's kind of fun. But the other reason is because um, if he gave me this tea right here, if he gave it to me, and he said this tea is the price that it was, I would have bought it because it's a beautiful, beautiful tea. Now, why is it special? The presentation. Okay, here we go. You ready? Here, wait. I was just gonna warm up the water. I'm gonna stop that for a second. I'm gonna get this right up to the. Here we go. You ready? There we go. There's the ASMR for you guys of this. Here we go. Warm up the water and we'll get into this tea. And you can see that's how it works. And then when you're done, you can stick it back in and go like this. Now, right, so this tea is a high quality tea. It's produced in an extremely high quality way. It's certified organic. It's got, I've been to the garden. I know the guy. I walk around there all the time. And so it's got all the check marks. And like I said, the reason I got it, the reason I got so much of it was simply because this is kind of fun. And the premium for it is not that much. It's really not that much. And what I mean by that is, again, if I had tried this tea, if he had given me this tea and told me the price, I would have bought it then, right? You're not paying an insane amount of money for this. Now, this tea didn't win, right? This tea didn't win. It's not a winner. And the story that I heard, obviously he didn't win. But the story that I heard from him is that what's happening now with the competitions in this area, this is Muzhou, right? So this is right outside of Taipei. Oh, come on. Sorry. There we go. So the YouTube is out of focus there. This is right outside of Taipei. And so there's always a massive market. There's always people that want this tea. There's always people that want this tea because it's right outside of Taipei. It's right there. It's just right outside of Taipei. And so what he was telling me was that this competition has now become like a really big deal for many people. And for a lot of the producers up there. And what they've been doing for this is because there's no rules, right? There's no rules for the competition other than it's what the judges want. And so what the producers have been doing is they've been mixing cultivars. And it sounded really, really interesting. So Rougui, right? They had, this is Tie Guanyin, which is like Iron Goddess. Well, now there's Jin Guanyin, which is Golden Goddess. And so all of these, like all of the marketing type of stuff. But what they're doing is they're mixing up the different cultivars. They're putting them all together to get the taste that is unique to them. And then they win the competition and then they make lots and lots of money. My buddy's just like, I don't care about that. He's just like, I really don't care. It's too much trouble for me. So he has not been doing that, right? So he has not been doing that. And what he has done, and why I guess, probably what he would say is why I didn't win, but who knows? I haven't tried those other teas. Maybe they're really, really special. They probably are. A lot of work went into them, a lot of care. But they have flavors that are really quite unique. So every single one of these boxes, if they won, would have a flavor and a taste that would be extremely, extremely, extremely unique, which I find fascinating. I absolutely find fascinating. Right? I absolutely do, because it's so. It's kind of new, right? Before the idea of what is tradition or traditional is changing, right? Because this tea is one of the most traditional teas in all of Taiwan. The Muzhou Tie Guanyin is like one of the oldest teas. It's got one of the longest histories. It's Japanese era, and depending on who you talk to, maybe a little bit before the Japanese era as well. But, right outside of Taipei, so back in the day, getting to this spot was you could do it in a day. So you could go on a day trip to get to this spot, but it'd be a long day, but you could do it in a day, go up the mountains and get the view of everything. It's a beautiful spot. It's really quite a beautiful spot. And so like I said, it's quite famous. And it's just a lot of care that's been taken and put into making it this tea. Now, like I said, it's Jinchuan cultivar, which means that it is, it's just sort of the regular cultivar. It's nothing special about the cultivar. It's not Tieguanyin cultivar, but it's the Tieguanyin style, and it is. It's actually what they did because they don't have, even outside of Taipei, which is crazy. Even outside of Taipei, they don't have the pickers. They don't have people to go up and pick. And so even outside of Taipei, they don't have the pickers to go up and pick, which is just crazy. So it's machine picked, but then after it's done, it's gone through and all the stems are taken out. So here, I'll show you. All the stems are taken out. All the huangpian or the yellow leaves or anything like that is all taken out. And so what you've got is this really, really, really high quality. You can see the tea right here. It's really, really high quality tea. And it's all quite uniform and it's really quite nice. Now, and you can see I'm doing it in two different styles. So this is the way that I always do it, right? So this is just like that. There's 3 grams in here. And then I put 5 grams in my teapot because, this is a specialty. I want to get some special flavor of my specialty. And well, actually, I'm curious to see the difference between them. I don't often put them side by side like this, sort of at the same time. Now, what makes it's okay. I just shook a couple leaves on my lap. What makes a Muza Tieguanyin or Taiwanese Tieguanyin? Let's just Muza Tieguanyin. Like I said before, it's not the cultivar. All right, it is not the cultivar. So it has nothing to do with the cultivar. It's all about how it's made. And it boils down to heavy roast, like super, 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 super high roast, and a long, drawn out, depending on the weather, relatively slow or fast, but usually relatively slow, oxidization. And so you're taking a tea past the Dongding oxidization. So if you're looking at high mountain oolongs, you're looking at 15 to 20, maybe pushing 30 in some of them, right? That's that oxidization. Then for the Dongdings, you're looking at 40 to 45 to 50, maybe, depending on what season it is and all that different types of stuff, about that much. Then if you keep moving up, all the way up at the top, you've got the red oolongs, right? So the red oolongs are way, way up at the top. And then the muzas, that's like 80 to 85% up at the top, red oolongs and things like that. And then in between the Dongding and the red oolong, somewhere in there, depending on how the tea master's feeling, oftentimes how the tea master's feeling, that's where you're getting the sort of the Muza teas. And then the teas are roasted extremely heavily over usually 3 days, and sometimes up to about 140 degrees. 140 degrees electric roasting is extreme. It's extreme. It's extreme to go that high, but that's what's happening with those teas. And what you're getting is, if it's done really, really well, what you're getting is beautiful fruit flavors, caramelization of some of the sugars that would be in sort of the younger leaves. You're getting, well, if you've had the sort of the Muza Tieguanyins that are on the site right now, that's sort of the flavor that you're getting, which is light. This is just the first steep, so it's not really coming out too strong, but it's light. And that's why this is a competition tea. The aftertaste on this is so dramatically beautiful. It's really, really nice. Like the aftertaste is just gorgeous. Now in the first steep, the upfronty caramelly type of stuff is not started yet, but mid-mouth clear, caramel, oh yeah, okay. If I'm drinking more of it, sort of the caramel starts up a little bit in the mid to the back end. Then the aftertaste is extremely long lasting. And it's like a darker version of the Dongding aftertaste. And what I mean by that, like a darker fruit, a little bit more roasted fruit, something like that. Undeniably Muza. And, you know, from my buddy. that's sort of his flavor. Now, if you've had the golden Muza on the side of the Tieguanin on the site, then you sort of know what I'm talking about. And you can just tell it's just a high quality tea. It's a high quality tea. And it is, you know, it's organic and all of that. Now, I also bought, maybe I'll do a live stream on Friday with it, because it'll be released on Sunday as well with this tea. But I don't like pushing the aged teas as much because they're not for everybody, even though this one's very, very accessible. But I got the 1996 aged tea as well. And that tea, I think, I did last live stream I did that with that tea. Anyway, so I won't talk about it too much. And like I said, I don't like pushing the aged teas out there in the sense of the costs are quite high and it's not for everybody. But that's a beautiful tea. And also it has his fingerprints all over it. Drinking the last of my 2019 Golden Muza right now. Hey, well, right on. There you go. And so it'll be very, very similar to this flavor, but the Golden Muza that's on the site right now is much more, it's heavier than this, right? It's heavier than this. And what do I mean by that? It's just care hasn't been taken quite as much as this. It hasn't been taken quite as much as this. And so what you're getting is you're getting a lot more flavors. You could argue that this is lacking complexity in the sense of having sort of astringencies and some of the things that would be like it doesn't have quite as full a mouthfeel, because remember, mouthfeel often comes from the lower leaves of the trees. So the lower leaves of the trees often gives you a thicker mouthfeel and more of the floral. So this is just sort of the tops and quite, you know, it's been picked out. So the stems aren't even in there, right? So there's no real stems in here. Right, so you can see like there's no real stems. It's just really, 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 really taken care of. So there's no stems, and so it's different than that tea. But you probably should put them side by side. Should put them side by side. I know for sure that this. Well, let's see. Here we go for the second steep. The caramelness of this tea is a little bit more dramatic than that one. And here's the second steep, and that's the upfront caramel. It's like a roasted caramel, and it's nice. It's just really nice. It's a beautiful, nice tea, well taken care of, high quality, at a great price. So that makes me happy. Have you had the chance to try teas made in Yunnan by Taiwanese makers with transplanted Taiwanese teas? Seems like a trend now. My guess is yes, it would be a trend, mostly because the labor in Yunnan is much, much, much cheaper than it is in Taiwan. The labor in Taiwan is extremely expensive. And so they'll be able to make tea on a much higher scale. And I haven't. I wouldn't say that I have. I think in the West, you would definitely be getting a lot of those just because there is that sort of the more, it's really hard for Chinese vendors to get Taiwanese teas because the shipping teas across the strait and all that type of stuff, it's really, really tough. Just in the same way, it's pretty tough for me to get Chinese teas as well. And so if they start having Taiwanese style teas, all the Western facing vendors will just be like, yeah, okay, get it, send it, because it's Taiwanese, because everybody likes Taiwanese teas. Most people like Taiwan. A lot of people like Taiwanese teas. And so that's sort of the difference that I would suspect right now, especially if there's more and more of it coming out. You'd see a lot more of it. And that's, I know a lot of Taiwanese guys who go over there to make tea. I know a lot. I know a lot of families, because here there's not really room for expansion or growth, whereas in China there's massive amounts of growth and expansion. Like you go to a place like Mingjian that has beautiful soil. Every single patch of land has been reserved for generations upon generations, right? Whereas you go into China, you can probably find some places that you can buy or lease. It's just a lot more land. It's a lot more land. It's a softer, more delicate. You can see the color of the liqueur there. It's softer, more delicate. The aftertaste is gorgeous. There's a sweetness to the caramelness in it. It's quite different than the golden moussaka we have on the site right now. It's quite different, and it's lighter, more flowing. It's like, well, it's a competition tea, right? So what I also find interesting is, how do you judge a competition with tea, right? So not to go all postmodern on you, I think objectively there is higher quality and lower quality. We've been dealing with the problem of quality forever and ever and ever. So when you have a competition of good teas, basically what it boils down to is, what are the judges going for? What do the judges want? Right? Just like I was learning about it yesterday. If you want to learn about AI, there's a guy named David Shapiro on YouTube, and he is openly autistic and brilliant. And so he was talking about the idea that as soon as you, because he does these systems things, he's got another YouTube channel system. The point is, as soon as you figure out a point on the evaluation scale or on the evaluation metric that you are going towards, everything goes away, because you don't actively seek education any longer, or excellence or quality. You seek that point. So the classic example is teaching to the test, right? So if you have to write the test, you get good on that test. Does that actually mean you learn anything? Well, of course not. The tests are idiotic at this point in the game with AI and all these things. It's stupid to have a test in the standardized test frame. But if you move this over to the tea, when you're having a tea competition, there is the judges, and they're the most important thing. Whatever their sensory biases towards the tea, whatever they want, is the winner of the tea, right? So you can have 100 teas, and 100 of them are extremely high quality, but some taste like cinnamon, and some taste like caramel, and some taste like charcoal. And if they're like, I'm the charcoal judge, then the charcoal ones win, even though the other ones are objectively high quality and objectively good. And so I'm fascinated by tasting a bunch of these types of teas, right? I'm fascinated by tasting a bunch of these teas in that context, because I know what I like, and I certainly know what people who buy tea from me like, my customers like. And so how does that go into the same sort of frame of reference as the competitions? I think that's so much fun, right? I think that's really so much fun. And this here is obviously not what they're looking for. But this is, to me anyways, this is like the classic taste of Moussa Tiaguani. Sharp roast, caramel, dark fruit, roasted dark fruit. Like imagine like a sweet plum on a barbecue, little stuff on the sides, like a dark fruit, sort of like that in the background. Full mouthfeel. That comes from the Jinchuan cultivar more than anything else. And a toasty, long-lasting aftertaste. And yeah. Oh, any questions about that stuff? They recently democratized the judging at the WUI competitions, and the winners are now all non-traditional novelties. Old heads are furious. Hey, thank you for giving me that little tidbit of information, Mr. No, because that sounds exactly what's happening at the Muta competition. That they've democratized is a tough one, but they've certainly opened it up to more judges in the sense of the old guard have gone off, and so they are. So there's more of a, oh, this is, you did this the right way, in the good way, in the traditional way, versus, wow, you know, I'm floating on a cinnamon leaf in a field of slowly roasting plum fruits on charcoal. You know, so that they've definitely opened it up to a lot more of these different types of things like that. Okay. So here we go. I've been sitting, this has been sitting here for 30 minutes or so. So 30 minutes sitting in hot water. Let's give this a try. Same tea. This is 3 grams. And then this one is going on sort of the 4th steep or 5th steep. Now, one of the things that I am not so, with the competition teas and in general, the teas that have had their stems picked out, they don't last as many steeps as I wish they would. They don't last as many steeps as I wish they would. This particular tea, probably 4 or 5 steeps will get nice, and then as you go further than that, not so much. But that just comes from the fact that it's, you know, you're getting most of your flavor in the first couple steeps because there's just not a lot of stuff going on in the flavor of this, in what's going on in this. So unfortunately, that's just sort of the case. Nothing much we can do about it. And yeah, okay, here we go. So this is the blast. So this has been sitting, boiling water, 30 minutes, 3 grams of tea. Sort of this is how they would taste it in the competition, although I think it's only 5 minutes in the competition. Yeah, so all the flavors I described all at once with a extremely strong aftertaste and an extremely thick mouthfeel with that beautiful caramel and you know, a touch of that, what I say, tart? Anyway, so this one, there's a little bit more of a tart fruitiness to it. Whereas this one, not so much. It's more of a red fruit. But maybe the tart is just astringency from having sitting in boiling water for 30 minutes. Now, again, why would we drink tea like this? We drink tea like this, using this to enjoy it fully, to have an amazing experience, to have each steep different, to be able to sit and thoughtfully think about it. Why would you drink the tea like this? To evaluate it, to fully expose it, and to really know what the good parts and the bad parts are about that tea. Right? Those are the 2 different ways of drinking these teas and why you would drink them in 2 different ways. I'm trying to find a teapot, especially in this and your other oolong. How big is this, do you think? This one here, this is pretty small. This is maybe 120 to 130 milliliters. But here's the problem. If you're looking to get a pot for oolongs, oolongs are the catch-all. So you got High Mountain greenish oolongs. You got a Baozong, right, which is basically green tea. And then over the top, you've got a roasted tea like this, or you've got a red tea, and you can't really have a pot for all of them. Now, that being said, you could probably do, so you can see here like this pot, right? This would be a really good pot for a roasted tea, for roasted teas. This would be great because it gives them a place to expand and, you know, like Taiwanese roasted teas. And, you know, like this would be a great pot for roasted teas, right? This one here is actually, if you're going to do a catch-all pot, this one is actually pretty good because it's electric fired, right? Electric fired. Zinni, no. These are all actually just made by the only person that I really like and trust his art. which is my buddy in Hualien who makes teapots out of Hualien clay, makes it out of the earth under my feet, my home. And so, as you can tell from my quasi non-answer, I'm not the best guy to ask for this. There are tea experts who have like dozens of teapots, and they'll be like, listen, you get the purple Ginny clay, and you get it at this size, and you get it from this guy, and that's for Alishan teas. If you want Shanlin Chi teas, then you get this and this and this and this. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. Can I get 3 that fit the categories, please? I think in between me saying that and you reading that comment, I'm probably not the best guy for that. Let me think about it. Okay, let me think about it, because I hesitate to. The tea world is vast, and everybody's expertise are vaster than vast. And so for me, I am the tea guy. I am like, the tea sniper. I go out and I can find the best of the best tea for the best of the best price, and do it with integrity. I'm not a teapot guy. Maybe somebody out there can throw in the chat who would be the best teapot guy. I don't even know who the best teapot guys are. And I hesitate to be like, here's this much money that you should spend. I honestly, I'm not the teapot guy. Although, this one here, you can see, this is my buddy's stuff, and I love his stuff, and I buy it all the time. I wish I could buy more, but he's just had his grandson, or granddaughter. No, it's a grandson. And so he only spends 2 days a week making stuff, and the rest of the time he's babysitting. And so he hasn't done a lot of work in the last little while. I know the styles and the Yixing thing, it's all good. But if you trust the guy, then 1 for roasted, 1 for oolong, and I'm probably happy. Well, yeah, I would say the wood fired for roasted for sure, and then the electric fired for the greener stuff, and they work really well. I do a lot of research, so it's a crapshoot for those people selling Yixing. Yeah, I kind of wish they just said what I just said, right? Like, oh, this clay and that clay and this clay, like. Can't they just say, I'm really good with this clay and I understand this clay and this guy? Anyways, don't get me started. I'm not going to go there. That's not the right thing to do. It's one of my rules of thumb that I never, ever, 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 ever badmouth other people in the tea industry. It's a big rule of thumb for me, because when I first started out, I was attacked like by everyone, and and I just hate the drama. The drama is so stupid. It's so stupid. And so I don't know. I'm pretty good at interviews and things like that. I think I'm probably going to start up some interviews and things like that. But I don't know. I'm kind of happy just being. What's the best way to describe it? I'm really happy being sort of under the radar and having people enjoy the tea that I send out, and everybody being happy. I really enjoy that. I enjoy that a lot, actually. So I don't try not to talk about other people, because as soon as you start talking about other people, then all the drama starts, and that's not my style. One last question. I got the Louis Red, and it's wonderful. Is the organic Louis Red essentially the same? So, yep, Mr. Gnome knows. 2 things. One, they are different cultivars. So the Louis Red is big leaf oolong. The Louis Red is Louis. The other one is the Wui Red, is a little bit lower elevation. The Louis Red is really, really special because it's a high elevation for the area in a really unique sort of terroir. It's a really unique spot. It's basically the only tea garden there that's that high. And so that is quite unique. The Wui one is from Ningjian, so it's a lower area, and it's a little bit more roasted. And so the flavors in that one are more sort of chocolatey, a little bit of a chocolate, a little bit more of a sort of a chocolatey type of stuff. But yeah, somebody asked me about that. I gotta get in touch with that guy. I should probably go visit him. But yeah, that's the stuff I got to do, and that's about it. I got a couple packages to pack. It's, what is it, 10 o'clock in the morning for me, so I better get on my job. But that is it for now. So this will be on sale on Sunday at the usual time, which is like 10:30 here. It will be this. It will be, excuse the beeping. Hopefully that's not too loud. I got the window open because it's so beautiful. There will be this, and there will be the 1996, and there will be, there'll be a little bit more of the competition Honey Black if nobody reserves it. So get in touch with me if you want it. And so there will be a little bit more of that, but you got to get in touch with me if you want it. You know, send me an email and reserve it before Sunday. And I think that's it for right now. Just those two will be released on Sunday. Those two will be released on Sunday. And we're getting into springtime teas, and yeah, there we go. I got another big order for my friend and my sister coming. What is this Sunday to make? Yeah, okay. Email, DM on Instagram, either. So either an email or a DM on Instagram is fine. And yeah, so there we go. I'm going to go pack some tea. As always, thank you everybody so much who supports Mountain Stream Teas, which is literally me and my family, and that's it. There's nobody else. Well, obviously all the wonderful people who make the tea as well, of course. But other than that, there's nobody else. And yeah, it's going to be a busy couple weeks. We're doing the final move. So this will be one of the very last times that we'll be here. Probably within 2 weeks. No more of this. It will always be my laundry room that looks amazing. Mountains in the background, coconut trees, the sound of the bugs. my laundry just right up here hanging. but that's where the live streams will be going forward. I'll get to the full order, or just a request for the. Just send an email. We'll figure it out. Just send or a message or an email, and we'll figure it out. All right. So there we go. Thank you for watching, everybody. I certainly hope wherever in the world you have an amazing morning, night, evening, and all of that stuff. Thanks for watching. And we will see you next live stream.